Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome back to our Freedom Friday meeting. This is our support group, and today we're going to be discussing some very interesting information. If you want this information of the article that was retrieved that I'm sharing, you can go online to highwatchrecovery.org. You can go online and retrieve the same article from highwatchrecovery.org. So we're going to get right into it without further delay and see if we can get this. All right. And so give me a minute. What I want to do is edit this. And so, boom, save. And boom, there we go. That's what we're going to be discussing today. In what ways can I find freedom through sobriety? Okay, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked. See what the article introduction. Let's see what the article says from the introduction. The introduction of this article says the journey to recovery is different from everyone. For everyone. We're all made up of unique thought processes, personalities, histories, relationships, painful experiences, accomplishments, health conditions, and so much more. It's only fitting that these elements that make up who we are will go on to influence the way we perceive ourselves and our recovery. As the National Institute on Drug Abuse states, there isn't really a cure for addiction. While we create a lifestyle of sobriety, we can still experience freedom even more so than we ever thought we could before. Very interesting. All right, very interesting. All right, and so the first topic of discussion is addiction traps us while sobriety sets us free. Addiction traps us while sobriety sets us free. The trap. Let's talk about the trap. The article talks about the trap by stating when active addiction is present in our lives, our brain essentially becomes hardwired or hijacked to crave and seek out the substance of choice. One person shared her story with addiction via Heroes in Recovery, a website that shares recovery stories. Here is an excerpt from her personal experience with drug addiction. I glanced at myself in the mirror that day. I had gotten used to not doing that very often because I didn't even recognize myself. I saw the reality of what I had become and knew that I was heavily addicted and that once I diverted narcotics from work, there was no turning back. Okay? This is an excerpt from someone's story. The article goes on to say, while the effects of substances can cause us to feel euphoric, the reality is that these substances serve as a trap over time because we lose ourselves while losing our ability to control it. All too often, those who struggle with addiction will merely believe that they have more freedom than they really do. They would say, oh, I can easily stop drinking if I wanted to. Or I could take just one hit. I can control my drug use. This rarely, if ever, happens, however, because addiction makes it that much more difficult to say no. Before a person knows it, they're consumed while more than they originally intended. A key sign of addiction. All right, here it is. Addiction changes who we are, and we find ourselves saying and doing what we may previously had never done. Some clear example of this are, and here are some bullet that's listed here, and there are 3 of them. So the first bullet says signs of addiction. It says lying about where a person was when they would normally tell the truth. All right. So addiction has us lying. The second bullet talks about stealing medication from family members' cabinets. Right. And 3, saying very mean things to those they love because they don't want to be confronted with the truth about their substance abuse. All right. And so sobriety gives us back the very part of ourselves that we lost through addiction. So the first aspect was the trap, right? So the trap have us believing that we can stop when we want to. We can stop drinking if we wanted to, that we just need only 1 hit, or I can control my drug use. But clear signs of addiction are lying, stealing, and saying very mean things to those that we love because they don't want to be confronted with the truth about their substance abuse. Now, we talked about the trap, we talked about the signs. Let's talk about some of the sobriety that sets us free. Sobriety gives us back the very part of ourselves that we lost through addiction. Rather than becoming distracted by seeking and using substances, we present our lives. All right. And it says, we're there for the real moments with friends and family. We're better able to form memories. We're more capable of maintaining responsibility because our attention is no longer forced to be diverted. Recovery is a lifelong process that involves learning and growth. But as we strengthen our mental, physical, and spiritual health, we become more confident of our purpose and life. No longer are we stuck in an endless cycle that hurts us and those we love over and over. Instead, we are filled with so much love, support, and positivity that we'll feel that we are free to live a life that speaks to our heart and soul. 12-step programs are an excellent part of treatment, as they led many people to discover freedom and sobriety. An author, Greg D. book title, The New Awakened Sobriety, Finding Freedom with the 12 Steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. He explained that for him, both ongoing sobriety and spiritual awakening have become a powerful linkage in his recovery. He's discovered that as he worked towards one of these, the other one is naturally strengthened as well. And through this, he has found freedom in a number of ways. Here's some of the freedom that he points out, or this article points out. And the first bullet talks about his point of view has changed from one of self-centeredness to being a small part of a much larger picture. Second bullet goes on to say he views people, places, and events in relationship to other aspects of life and not just himself. And third aspect or bullet, it says a greater sense of tolerance and patience with others has developed. Talking about sobriety, all right? And he now finds himself drawn towards people rather than wanting to distance himself from them. Wow. And so this article goes on to say the 12-step program emphasized the importance of acceptance of people, places, and events that are out of our control. That is so true. If you're able to recognize, I see a private chat. Let's see. Who is that? Sorry, but I can't hear you. Let me see. Jahani, see, because I have I'm not muted, but see if you can hear me now. Can you hear me now? Let me see something. Excuse me, everyone, while I try to answer this person's request. All right. All right, let's get back to it because we almost done. And I'm sorry that, so we talked about the trap, we talked about seeking freedom. And so this part of the program, we're talking about 12-step program emphasizes the importance of acceptance of people, places, and events that are out of control, out of our control. And that is so true because once I began to realize that I can no longer revisit or take part in some of the people, places, and things in my life because I fortunately, that by removing myself, I am more in control of my sobriety. But when I place myself in toxic environment, whether they're people, places, or things, then if I'm not mindful of them, I can lose myself into spiraling out of control or going into an addiction state of being. So that is so true when it says that 12-step program emphasizes the importance of acceptance of people, places, and events that are out of our control. All too often, addiction arises out of a need to control something. We become entrapped in our emotions, upset over the way things should be, and we believe that self-medication will solve the problem. What we fail to realize, however, is that acceptance is what truly sets us free. In doing this, we become much more open to life. Wow. This is a great article because now it begins to not only allow us to take a look within ourselves to find out how we can better deal with situations, our emotions, and our perception. So there is a lot we can be able by understanding the disease of addiction and the importance of sobriety. It gives us a clear perspective of how we view ourselves and others, and also life. So the next part we want to talk about, and this is very short, however, I'm going to share it with you as well, and that is create a lifestyle that builds a life you love. This, even though it's short, but it's the title alone to me is very powerful. Right? All right. Hi, Jahani.
Hello, how you doing? I had a little bit interference connection. So I had to go back and go in again. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay. But you can hear me now, right?
I can hear you now. Yep.
Okay, cool. So I'm sorry about that. This article here that I read, uh, it talks about some of the traps of addiction uh, that people tell themselves that they are stronger than they think they are, that they can drink, especially those who have an alcohol addiction. They feel that they can drink when they know they shouldn't be drinking. And some people say that they can use drugs only a little bit, and when that is not the case. And some people say, well, I got it under control, and some people are in denial. And so that's all some of the traps and some of the things that this article make mention of. People with addiction, they because drug and addiction are so baffling and conning and manipulative. Most people that are addicted or people with addiction, they do three things. They This article says they begin to lie about where a person was when they would normally tell the truth. And also people began to steal medication from family members' cabinets. And third, this article says that people with addiction or telltale sign of addiction saying very mean things to those we love because they don't want to be confronted with the truth about their substance abuse. And so those are things that telltale signs of people with an addiction, and that addiction is a trap, but sobriety sets us free. And by sobriety setting us free, this article lets us know, Jahani, that if we're able to stay away from people, places, and things that would jeopardize our sobriety, we will be much successful. And so the last part that I'm going to share with you, and it's very, very short. I'm going to read it to you, but it says, create a lifestyle that builds a life you love. And so I'm not sure that you ever struggle with any drug addiction or anything of that nature.
No, but my mother, since I was little, she was on drug use, and I was seeing everything that it will trigger, her and me and the whole family.
Yeah, yeah, that's so true because a lot of times we don't understand that drug is not a individual disease, or it doesn't affect just the individual.
Yeah, they
It
don't.
it affects the whole family.
Yeah, it affects the whole family and affects everything.
Yeah, and so that's why by us sharing this information, it gives us insight. Especially for me, it gives me insight, but it also helped me to stay grounded, to be able to share this type of information so that if anybody or our loved ones is struggling with addiction, we can better understand what they are going through and we can better assist them. So, yeah.
That's
And,
true.
yeah. And so I'm not sure. So, how's your day going?
Pretty good. I came to from taking a test to see
Oh,
how my my study guide and my mind is. But well, I passed it with the 11th grade level, so I should be fine by now. I only need.
yeah. Oh, the GED.
No, I have my high school diploma. I'm just trying to improve my grade level of understanding, every concept.
Oh, so you just steady improving upon your education.
Yeah, that's kind of like improving. Yeah,
Well, that's great. That's great. That is good news.
I
That's
think learning experience with everything.
uh-huh. And so so now are you doing both classes? For the people who don't know, me and Jahani, we are in the same class. We're doing a training. And so the training that her and I uh, are doing, because we are bettering ourselves by learning as much as possible. And so we're doing a community health worker training. And so one of the questions I wanted to ask you, Johnny, are you doing the certified peer recovery specialist training?
Yes, I'm doing both. I'm doing the community health and the peer recovery specialist.
Okay, so you're on top of your hours, so that's great, great.
I'm trying, and they called yesterday for a job that I applied, and I went for an interview, and they said they was gonna call me
Yeah.
at of the month, and they did, and I gonna start like the hiring process on Tuesday. So
Oh,
so
well,
more.
congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Hey, keep up the good work. I'm
Yeah.
so proud of you. So that's wonderful. I hope that don't interfere with our class. Do it?
No, it's not gonna interfere, but I have to take a training that's gonna take a week. But
Oh,
it's good because I haven't missed any class, so I should be fine.
oh,
But
wonderful. Okay, yeah, I'm glad for you. So I'm going to read this little piece, and we'll wrap it up until I may be in class Tuesday. I may not, because I I'm supposed to be going on vacation.
oh, great.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see. All right. So let's read this last part, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay.
Okay, not a problem.
All right. And so we're talking about create a lifestyle that builds a life you love. And this article ends with this. It says, don't wait any longer to start your sobriety journey. You'll find that so many beautiful direct and indirect benefits come from taking care of your health and well being. Start your journey towards healing today. All right. And so that's it for us this Friday of Freedom Friday.
I was,
All right, Jahani, enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you soon.
all right, thank you. You too. Have a blessed weekend. All right.
All right, you stay blessed too. Thank you.
Yeah.